Hi, this is Alexandra Breckenridge, and you're listening to The Dave and Creech Show.
This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dave and Creech Show. We are now here sitting at episode 16. I guess sitting is something we can be
I'm
doing.
going to correct you.
Podcasting.
Hold on. You said episode 16.
Did I say 16?
Yeah.
I meant 17. Oh,
yeah.
I'm just suffering from deja vu again because I loved episode 16 so much. But my always at it and on point co-host Dave Sheridan is here, as am I, CJ Creech. And we've got a pretty epic show today because we've got Alexandra Breckenridge joining us for an interview, and we're going to talk some weird and entertaining news around the world.
Where'd you run into her at? Where did we get an interview with her at? We
got an interview with her at Walker Stalker Con Nashville.
Oh, that's the infamous White Castle food coma location, right?
Yes, that is where the food coma happened, amongst other things. But yes, that's where...
David Davidson.
Yes, this is actually your third podcast in a row mentioning David Davidson. That's like a record.
Well, no, Creech, there will be a fourth and there will be a fifth. There will never not be an episode going forward. Somewhere in the episode, I will mention Sir David David. David Davidson, right?
You forgot the.
The David Dave Davidson. And I'll mention him in every show going forward for at least 10 years, once a week. But we'll start making it a little bit more sly, like you're not going to point it out. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
You're not going to point
I
it
won't,
out. Oh, there's
I won't call you out, though.
Yeah, let it be a little Easter egg for the listeners. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to give Dave his 15 minutes of fame every week.
Well, no, I'm going to give him he won't even get 15 seconds. It's going to be like maybe 1 second. But after 60 episodes, he'll have 1 minute. And he can cut a little sample reel together, a little clip reel of all the different times I mention it, and et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. So then he can have that little special memorabilia of his life and be like, hey, I want this played at my funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Just Dave Sheridan saying the David Davidson 60 times. Everybody's just sitting there in the funeral home like, what the hell is this? What is going on? We already know this guy's name.
Yep.
But how has your week been, sir?
Well, we're recording 1 day later than normal, so my week is 1 day later than it normally is. So I'm actually a little bit more tired. I was really worn out last night, which is why we couldn't record. And now I'm pretty worn out now, and we've already recorded maybe 20 minutes. I'm sure you'll be able to salvage something out of what we've already recorded, but this is going to be a short podcast. I'm going to let you know that right now.
I'm fine with that.
But I say that, and we never know. But I can't go past 11 because this week, as the week goes on, it goes on. I'm actually looking through if you can hear the pages, let's see. You see that?
I did.
That's I got a little brochure for kitchen cabinets that I'm looking at, and
multitasking.
You have to understand. Yeah, we'll check in on my house build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into the negative stuff right now, but I'm dealing with an HOA, and they have all sorts of rules and restrictions, and they have, they've got these. It's like Ted Knight and the whole gang from Caddyshack that I have these meetings with these hearings, they call them, where there's Wilford Brimley looking guy who looked like the guy is like Wilford Brimley, but if he went and got his stomach stapled, and got gastric bypass surgery. So he's Wilford Brimley with AIDS that like already lost like 200 pounds. You know what I mean? But he still has the big caterpillar mustache over his face. And then the other guy's like Ted Knight with his shorts pulled up, like halfway past his waist and stuff and up his crotch. And they're just all a piece of work. You know what I mean? Most of these people got their homes in foreclosure in the 2008 collapse. And they act like they're just like the richest people in the world, or I act like I'm a part of some, I didn't move into a snobby country club, but they act like they're making, and they're all older, by the way. They're all like 60, 70 years old, the HOA, because no normal person, especially someone my age that has kids, the other people in our neighborhood, there's no young people in our neighborhood. There's, these are expensive homes. So there's not like a lot of 20-year-olds that have young kids or 30-year-olds. It's mostly people in their 40s with kindergarten age kids, third graders, fourth graders, whatever. But they don't want anything. Those younger people, and I call them younger because they're way younger than the older, crotchety people that run the HOA in my neighborhood. But because the younger people, they don't want anything to do with the HOA because they've got other things to do in their life. You know what I mean? They got to pick their kids up. They've got things to do. And so they leave the HOA for these old people to run, and they're retired and they've got nothing else to do but F with people, and because they used to be listened to. Somewhere down the line, they were executives at a company or something, and they're used to be listened to. And now they're sort of feeling less than important in the world. And people, when you get to that stage, they sort of grip and they want some sort of, they don't realize they're doing this, but they get back into that kind of like, I need to have control, or I need to be authoritative, or, because I was middle management and I got to boss people around before, and now there's no one left to boss around because my wife bosses me around. So that's what we end up with.
Okay. Sounds like a big ball of fun. You're dealing with the HOAs.
Right.
Speaking of fun, one of the events that we were going to be at this summer got delayed until December.
What's that about? So you went to Alexander, you got Nashville or whatever, Walker Stalker. And now, what is going on with Walker Stalker Charlotte? Because we were going to hit that, and that was going to be in June sometime, right? Which wasn't too far off.
Exactly, yes. First off, for our foreign listeners, you might want to look up the HB2 bill. But basically, it's causing a huge uproar in Charlotte, where laws have passed.
Wait, can I ask you a question? Is it a bill or is it a law?
I believe it was a bill that was passed into a law.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I'm just a bill. Just a lonely old bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. You know that song?
Yeah, that's Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh yeah, whatever. You're cool, yeah.
But yeah, and recently, I don't know. Once again, for our overseas listeners, if they've heard much about it, but there's been a ton of performers, artists, musicians, what have you, that are pulling out of either projects or canceling concerts they were already scheduled to do, like Bruce Springsteen, Pearl Jam, Blue Man Group. The list goes on, and they're pulling. they're pulling this. They're pulling.
Wait a second. The Blue Man Group pulled out of a concert in North Carolina because of HB2.
Yes.
Well, what gender are they? What gender is the Blue Man Group? Are they? I mean, they are men. It says Blue Men, right? Can they or? Were they like, well, we want to be able to use whatever bathroom we want to use, or aren't they aliens? What the hell are those things?
I think they're supposedly aliens. I think.
I didn't know the Blue Man Group was getting political. Guys that bang on PVC drums. You know what I mean, and have like ping pong balls, like shoot through tubes and make sounds and stuff like that. I didn't know they were getting political. Aren't they like mimes? They don't say anything, right?
They do not talk. That is correct.
It would be like the one guy from Penn and Teller, doing a sit-in for something, for Black Lives Matter or something. It's like a mime, you know what I mean? Protesting. First of all, where were they playing?
I don't know. I'm just going to generalize it because, I mean, really, when you hear people coming to North Carolina, it's usually Charlotte, Raleigh.
Yeah. No, I'm sure they were playing a big city.
Charlotte.
I just meant a venue.
I mean,
I just meant a venue where they playing some sort of theater, like down at the convention center or something.
Your guess is as good as me on that.
I'm just wondering what person is totally let down that the Blue Man Group has canceled a show that is because of HP2. Is it HB2 or HP2?
HB. And, all the...
What's HB stand for?
I don't know. All I know is that the internet is calling it HB for hate bill. Hate bill 2. Basically, because of that, everybody's withdrawing their supports and canceling concerts and everything. And Walker Stalker Con the other day announced that after contemplating it, they decided to postpone it till December.
Oh, they contemplated it.
Yes. They decided to postpone it till December in the hopes that they will repeal the bill.
How many people are upset over the Blue Man Group canceling, like to the point where it's like, oh, motherfucker. Like, I gotta march on wherever the headquarters is, Raleigh for the state capitol. I'm going to march on the state capitol. Like, I got to have my Blue Man Group. This means a lot to me. I got to march about this bill. They're right. Like, I just don't see a Blue Man Group canceling a bill is not going to have much of an effect. Bruce Springsteen canceling a show may, because there's a lot of fanatical Bruce Springsteen fans. And if they're upset or, they follow him, they listen to him, they look up to him. I don't know how many people listen to the rhetoric of the Blue Man Group because they're not political anyway. They don't speak. So, Bruce Springsteen is a guy, and Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder, they're people that have already had a past of sort of being activists or politically bound by their beliefs. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I think it's a little hopping on the train for the Blue Man Group to cancel, I'm curious. I know Rob Zombie's coming to play in a couple weeks. Doesn't look like he's going to cancel. And there's a reason, because Rob Zombie's not political and his fans are not political. You know what I mean? Like, Bruce Springsteen's fans can be political. This bill does not really affect a lot of public situations with rights, because most places have either single bathrooms that you go in and you lock a door, like pizza places, or I like to eat at the Flying Biscuit. When you use the Flying Biscuit's bathroom, they have 2 bathrooms and they have one stall, one toilet in each one, and you turn around and you lock the door. You know what I mean? So that wouldn't affect anybody in any way. In fact, there's no reason for one to say male or female on it, because if you just have a room with a toilet, and they should just have bathroom 1, bathroom 2, like they have on an airplane, They probably should make the bathrooms gender specific in the first place. That's really the issue at play, not so much who can go in those things. They should probably just make unisex bathrooms and just get it over with. The funny thing is that I know they're protesting. I know they're doing this in terms of the general concept of the bill and stuff like that, but that bill definitely does not affect public venues such as these concerts, because they all have the porta potty things set up at the concerts. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm not going to see you in June.
Well, maybe we can meet up or something.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I'll still be working on my house, so I can't take the trip to New Jersey. Will not happen because I'll still be working on my house. So.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's only 2 hours away from me, so it's not like it's a crazy drive.
That is a crazy drive when technically it's 4 hours away, so that means you're doing twice the speed of the limits. What are you talking about? 2 hours away. What'd you do? Move? That I didn't know about?
No, it only took me, when I left from Mad Monster, it only took me like 2.5 hours to get home. And that was to Charleston.
It's not bad.
That's not bad at all. And and then I can do 2.5 hours with no problems. I mean, I'm used to doing the 12-hour drives for New York, so yeah, the Charlotte trips aren't bad at all.
Mad Monster was a good show, man. It was a fun time, and I just feel like, I guess we should have stuck our nose in and really try to get an interview with Chyna, right? We could have had our last interview, but you never know who's going to die like that, like Chyna dying. You know, it's like.
Well, I mean, if we were to be honest, I mean, you know, you even commented when I showed you where she was at. I mean, she was looking pretty rough.
Right.
And apparently, it was revealed today that it was apparently an overdose on Ambien and Xanax.
Yeah, which is an accident. That's an accidental overdose.
Yeah.
That's not a.
Oh yeah, yeah. And they apparently this had been going on for a while. They were going to schedule, or they had already scheduled an intervention for her, but obviously they didn't get it soon enough.
Well, she had sleep issues, you know, and it's tough to go to sleep when you're wired on things, you know. If you're taking stuff to bring you up, you got to take stuff to bring you down. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a part of that culture. So I will tell you that there may be a week where I do stuff like that on the Ambien situation, and then I got to get off of it, right? So, because I don't want to just take Ambiens every night. So it takes me about 2 days of stopping Ambien for my heart to like stop pounding at night. It just pounds and pounds and pounds, you know. And sometimes my hands kind of like get a little tremor in them when I'm trying to go to sleep. But I don't want to go back to that Ambien, you know what I mean? I want to just stop. I want to try to get to sleep normally. But I can. It's hard for me to get to sleep. But I just don't want to be somebody that ends up like her where I'm constantly on these Ambien. So I'll, you know, because you build up a tolerance to things. So she might have been to a point where if she didn't stop, she could have been to a point where she was taking 4 Ambiens, maybe more, maybe 5, 10, I don't know, to go to bed, right? And if you do the Xanax thing as well, and then both of those things will completely just stop your heart. You know what I mean? It'll put you in such a deep sleep where your muscles will relax and you'll stop breathing. So, or she, you know, like I said, when I'm trying to get off of the Ambien, my heart just pounds for like 2 days, you know, and I got to get up and breathe, and I kind of get the cold sweats. It's like a total detoxing, you know, like, and that's just Ambien, you know, imagine what some real drugs are like.
Now, I mean, some of our listeners know this because if they're familiar with your filmography, but you starred together in Frank McKlusky. Did you get to spend any time with her, like, off the set? Was she kind of like that? I mean, because, you know, when we saw her, she was pretty docile, but it seemed like, at least in 2001, 2002, she seemed to be more energetic. I don't know.
Yeah, she was certainly a nice, approachable person. I didn't really hang out with her, and I'm trying to remember if she only worked one day. Where all of our scenes were in the office, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking she only worked one day, maybe 2 at the most. But in that particular movie, which we shot in L.A., so I was able to go home at night. So there was no sort of I didn't have a lot of social atmosphere with any of the actors when you're in L.A., because you're not going back to a common hotel where we're all staying and where you're going to go eat dinner. So when you go out of town and shoot movies, you know, and you're like in Vancouver or Oklahoma or wherever, Atlanta, Fort Lauderdale, you're staying at a hotel, and they're usually putting the other actors up there, and so you kind of hang out, because if you wrap at like 7, it's like, guys, want to go get something to dinner? Oh yeah, let's go get some dinner. Let's go to this nice restaurant. Oh, let's have a couple drinks. You know, or let's hang out in the lobby, you know, at the hotel. So you actually get to have a little bit more social time with actors, other fellow actors, when you're living, you know, for a month at a hotel shooting a movie on location. But when you're in LA, you just want to get home. And so you get, you know, you've been working all day, and, you know, you just basically get your makeup off, get in your car, and drive through 45, 50 minutes of LA traffic to get to your house and have a regular dinner, see your family, and go to bed. So with all that said, since she only worked 2 days, The other part was that was a movie that I like co-wrote. I didn't get a lot of credit. I didn't get a producer credit or a directing credit, but I was very hands-on. So my day didn't end when they called wrap because there was other meetings to go to about tomorrow's shoot. Let's go walk through tomorrow's shoot. Let's look at the setups. Let's look at the set. We're going to drive over to the location after work. We're going to make sure it looks good. So I did a lot of that stuff. And that's like double duty because you're working all day and then you go and do that. That's the only time I said I need a driver. I got a driver to drive me to and fro because you have to understand we were shooting in some places you'd shoot an hour and a half away in traffic, not in distance because the distance wasn't that far, but just because of LA traffic. So that was 3 hours. If you're going an hour and a half one way, an hour and a half the other way, and you're leaving in the morning during rush hour and you're coming back around 7, 8 o'clock at night, and that's still rush hour in LA, that's 3 hours of sleep that I could get if I had somebody drive me. So that was the only time I really had a driver every day pick me up at my house because I would just lie down in the back seat and go to sleep, go to bed, That was nice, though. I like that. That's why I can't wait until those cars come out that are computer driven, where you don't have to drive at all.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that.
I am because then I can have my laptop. I can do work while I'm going places.
When it has a technical glitch,
like,
and then you're completely run off the road.
Oh well,
Skynet,
you know what?
Skynet revolts, and there you go.
I'll double up on the seatbelts. I'll be sure to get the really padded one on the inside so that I'm only hurting people on the outside, not myself. Anyway, back to Chyna. 2 days, super nice on set. Yes, had a lot of energy. She was very friendly. Usually people are on set, on movie sets. Most actors are very friendly to each other because they're getting paid a lot of money. And it's an easy job. You're not like hanging gutters or digging trenches, So you're not
exactly building a house.
Yeah,
right?
You're not building a house. By the way, I had my boxer soffit guys over. When I hired the guy was 60-something for one guy. And he goes, I'll get my crew over here. I didn't know his crew was going to be 78 and 80. These were like 5 old guys up on a ladder, and they all day had a cigarette. All of them had those cigarettes dangling out of their mouth. I don't know how you work with like a cigarette in your mouth. You know what I mean? Like they were just like puffing away on cigarettes like in their mouths. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of interesting. Cigarettes aren't cheap. Like they're like $5.50 a pack. They could be $6.70 in some states, $4.50. But if you just want to look cool at age 80 and be up on a house with a cigarette dangling from, you're not like smoking it, and you're not relaxing. You're not like I'm gonna relax and enjoy the flavor of a Camel through my taste zones, I guess. You're up there banging on a hammer with a cigarette. That's just all that's doing is putting smoke into your beard and your nose and everything. I just didn't. But hey, it's habit. But they must smoke like these guys must have went through a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. They weren't actually smoking them, but they just had them in their mouths, lit.
But yeah, back to Chyna.
You want to go all the way back to Chyna? Like I said, cordial, nice. Dead.
So 2002 was between Mad Monster Party and 2002. Was that the only time you saw her?
That's right.
I mean, she was.
Wait. Am I under suspicion here? Because you're asking sort of questions that are, these sort of seem like
I was just
police questions. Am I being like a?
No, I mean,
is this
I'm just saying because one, I know. I was just interested because you've frequented some Playboy Mansion parties, and obviously she had posed for Playboy. Didn't know if your paths had crossed.
I kind of avoided that. I definitely avoided that issue. I've never looked.
Well, I mean, she had apparently just finished wrestling when you had made that movie with her, and then of course she went on to do porn, and then.
How many porns did she do?
I don't know. All I know is that she did one she did as She-Hulk, the Marvel character, and then apparently another one she did where she was basically getting gangbanged by a bunch of, I guess, caricatures of real-life wrestlers. And WWE wasn't too happy about that at the time.
Wait, who wasn't too happy about it? Oh, okay, got it.
And, yeah, I mean, she did porn, and then she went overseas, apparently to teach English to Japanese people. And then she came back here. And apparently from what it says online, which once again you take it with a grain of salt, that she was apparently interested in going back into the porn business while she was shooting. She was actually shooting a documentary, which is weird because if she, I mean, this was her story about cover here from Japan and trying to make it again, so to speak. But yet, I mean, I saw her twice, and they didn't cover any of her convention appearances apparently. But they had been shooting it, and actually, they recorded when they found her dead. They didn't know she was dead, obviously, but that was actually recorded when her manager got them to unlock the door, and he discovered her body. So I don't know how that's. I don't think that footage obviously is going to be put in the documentary. But you never know, because VH1 totally showed a documentary about Left Eye from TLC where they showed the last footage of her before she died, and it was legitimately like she was making a funny face, not paying attention to the road, and then you hear the screams. And yeah, speaking of deaths, Chyna wasn't the only one that died last week. It seems like whenever one person dies, 2 or 3 other notable names happen to follow them. At least that's what they say the celebrity curse is. And obviously Doris, I think it's Doris Robertson from Everybody Loves Died, but I mean that was kind of expected. She was 90, okay, but then Prince died too.
Yep.
So it was not a good week to be a celebrity.
Did Doris Roberts do any crazy porn that I should know about?
She might have. I mean, I don't know.
Because, that's why we just broke up a little bit right there. Remember, because we were talking, and you were like, Chyna did some porn. I go, what? She did? Like, yeah, I kind of remember that, but then you talked about, like, the gangbang with the wrestler thing. I go, oh, I got to see that one, right? So I basically Googled it, and I went and started playing, and I was like, oh, wait, I better mute it. And but then when I muted that, I had to mute you, and then I couldn't get. And then all of a sudden, there's all these pop-up videos started coming up, all these pop-up like viral things, viruses, and I was like, I gotta reboot this whole thing. So it was a complete mess.
Yeah, the whole porn thing, Chyna didn't. That's one of the reasons why the WWE didn't induct her into the Hall of Fame, though it seems like they'll do it now. But yeah, she wasn't making many friends on that end when she was doing that stuff. Because, like I said, Marvel got mad at her because she played She-Hulk, apparently, in some Avengers porn parodies. And it's just bad.
Bad?
I mean, I haven't seen it, but I'm just saying it's, it's kind of sad the trajectory her life went in the end. I mean, not just saying, porn. I mean, I'm just saying, I guess just overall, she died a single, lonely woman.
Was she doing porn at the end?
Apparently, the company that had been making her porn movies had said that Chyna had contacted them a week before her death about actually doing another one. So it's possible that if she would have lived, that she would have done some more porn films.
So did she make quite a bit of them, or what?
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think she made maybe like 4 or 5 films.
Yeah, that's a lot more than I thought. Like, I thought when you said, oh, she did like a porn, I thought it was like one of those night vision camera, Paris Hilton Kardashian things, but it was a full-on, like, she really did do porn. That's crazy. That's that is sad, because it's you figure like she did that, and then the drugs, like you're saying, and it's not a good way. That's not a good life. You know what I mean? And it's certainly way off of teaching people English over in China. That's
yeah. I mean, she left. She did. I mean, she had. It had been documented multiple times. Her drug issues on. It seemed like every other month that some network show, whether it be VH1 or whatever, was doing some reality TV show that she took a part of, and they were chronicling her drug abuse. But yeah, she apparently quit the porn, went overseas, came back, and apparently was maybe, I don't know, probably the money, wanted to do the porn again.
Was she ever on Apprentice with like Donald Trump?
I don't know. I don't know 100% if she was on The Apprentice. I do know she was on Surreal Life because I used to watch that back in the day, and apparently she was on that Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew.
Oh gosh, see, that would be a good one. I would like. Well, obviously, it didn't work, right? I mean, was she on there for her Xanax pills, or was she on harder stuff? And maybe
I think she was on harder stuff then, because she didn't have any illegal drugs in her house when they found her. It was all doctor prescribed. I mean, granted, you know how celebrities can have a little more easier access than.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna. I gotta turn my fan off because my wife accidentally turned the fan on. But we're gonna talk about that. And you're gonna reset that up.
Am I?
I don't like you. No, you kind of quoted the celebrity thing, and then you made it seem like, you know, I don't consider myself a celebrity, but there's definitely other people getting Ambien and Xanax that are not celebrities less than me. So don't throw that card. I did get out of a speeding ticket the other day. The guy recognized me as Doofy. So, okay. So you said quote unquote because you went celebrities, which was almost like throwing quotes around it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I did the finger quotes, you know.
Yep. Okay.
But no, you know, I mean, obviously, there's other people that can also access this, and I mean, if somebody really wants if somebody really wants something, no matter who they are, then they can get it. Obviously,
prescription drugs are an epidemic, you know, especially opioids and stuff like that.
You just got to find a street pharmacist.
No, yeah, you don't even need a street pharmacist. You go to a doctor, then go to another doctor, and you say, oh, my back, I can't sleep. Okay, I'm going to write you 30. I'm going to write you 60. Whatever it is, you can get them. It's not that hard. And like you're saying, then, and I'm not going to name names, but I had a buddy of mine who's not a celebrity, although he's infamous in many circles, but he blew himself up in a big motorcycle accident, right? He's trying to jump this lake. No, he's trying to jump into the lake, but he accidentally built the ramp at the wrong angle, and he jumped over the lake. And he lit himself on fire before he jumped into the lake. See, he rode a motorcycle out. He was on fire, and he was supposed to crash into the lake where it would put him out, right? The lake would put him out. Instead, he landed on the other side of the lake and broke every bone in his body and all sorts of stuff. Collapsed lungs, shattered, back, concussions, broken neck, broken arms, broken legs. The spleen was torn apart. There might have been a lacerated kidney. I don't know. But what made it worse was he was still on fire, right? And he's on the other side of the lake, and they're filming this. But the guys with the fire extinguisher are on the side of the lake with the cameras, which were not on the side of the lake which he's on. So he was completely on another end of the lake, and they couldn't get to him. Do you know what I'm saying? And he was on fire, and he couldn't move because he was completely paralyzed. Anyway, he's not permanently paralyzed. So, it took him a year to heal, a year of all these things getting fixed, multiple operations. He's never going to be 100%, obviously, and he's always going to be in all sorts of pain. And his medical bills were in the millions of dollars. But this guy did these type of things because he's sort of a tough motherfucker, right? So he can take pain. And they gave him all sorts of prescription drugs. But he doesn't want to take drugs. He doesn't take drugs. He doesn't believe in them. So he needed the money, so he started getting into selling these drugs, the prescription drugs. So that's how they kind of get on the street, is legitimate people that are in legitimate crazy pain. They'll get major drug prescriptions. Hey, you need 5 pills of these a day, 6 pills of these a day, pills that go for like $115 on the street each. You know, the Oxycontins and stuff like that. And but he'll fight through the pain. He'll live with the pain because he needs the money so bad. So these dudes, you know, the organized crime of the drug syndicate, they track these guys down. You know, they make sure they find these guys and go, hey, do you want to sell your drugs? You know, they go to a lot of younger people who are taking care of older people or people with cancers and stuff that are in hospices. And they will buy those drugs off those people. You know what I mean? People that are dying and you're supposed to go give them painkiller drugs. They'll go to the grandkids and say, look, I'll give you $1,000 for fucking those 10 pills that you get for Granny there. You know, and oh well, let Granny suffer. That's kind of bad too, right? So there's no innocence on any side here. So.
I mean, yeah, very true. And as a side, not to make light of that situation, did this friend of yours happen to inspire the father in Frank McKlusky, since we were talking about that earlier, by any chance?
Oh, that's really funny. No, because this was only like a couple years ago. He's actually the opposite. It was like almost Frank McKlusky was almost a foreshadowing event of my friend. I never even thought of that. Damn you, Creech. No, he did not. That did not inspire him. But what did inspire him was Jackass or, you know, my show Buzzkill and stuff. Like, he was a younger guy and he aspired to be in that realm or to be the next level of that type of stuff.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Obviously, he didn't listen to Don't Try This at Home, and he tried it at home, and bad things happen.
That's right. That's right. That's what will happen, man. Wear your helmets. Wear stuff over your nuts.
Exactly.
But Chyna, going back to Chyna, yeah, that kind of sucks. Did you see Did you see her waking up video that I told you to look at on TMZ?
I did.
That she posted. That was the day before she died, right? Or the day that she died?
There's conflicting reports. Nobody knows if that was the actual day, like if she died that night, or if she died the next day. So it's definitely either the last day of her life or the second to last, for sure.
Because she didn't look that good in that thing. You know, I know she was just waking up, but, you know, it looked like she was waking up from a really hard night. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, hey, I'm refreshed. It was more like, oh, get up, oh my God. You know? Which is what she was kind of like in Charlotte.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, you know, we were both there. Like, she was definitely out. It seemed like they're there, too. But, I mean, she was... I mean, I'd seen her, early February, and then to see her about a month later, we saw her about 3 weeks before she passed, but... I mean, even from just that span between those events, I mean, yeah, she was definitely gradually getting worse until, obviously,
Really? See, I didn't understand that, because you said when you saw her in Atlanta that she didn't look that good. And then when you saw her in Charlotte, yeah, she doesn't look that good again. But I didn't know there was a gradual getting worse type of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep, and, I found out, like, just randomly late at night, because Mad Monster was actually how I found out that she even passed, because they posted some on their Facebook page saying, goodbye, Chyna, and I was trying to think about what they meant for, you know, a second there. I was like, did she just cancel some appearances or something?
Did it take her 3 weeks to check out of the hotel in Charlotte? You know, like, that would have been...
Yeah, or something like that. Like, yeah, it was... I was looking at the comments, and then I went on the news, like the Google and whatever, and looked up all the news sites. I was like, oh, okay, so she passed. And then that was when I texted you. I was like 2 o'clock in the morning. Even though you probably already knew by that point.
I don't know. I can't remember if I knew or not. Depends on what my response was to you. I don't think I did know. I think I went and Googled it after that. But and then Prince, like you're saying, same thing, drugs.
Yeah, Percocets is what I'm hearing right now. And by what I'm hearing, I mean by what I read on TMZ and everything. But apparently he was battling something. I saw this random. I don't know. You know how like there's all these different theories going around. One website was saying that he had AIDS, and I was like, okay, I don't know. But what is interesting about his death since then is that his estate has announced that they're going to turn the mansion that was also his recording studio that he died at. They're going to turn it into a Graceland type location where people could come to,
Nice.
remember Prince and tour and see all the memorabilia and stuff like that.
And that's always a weird thing because you kind of get half and half. Do I like Prince? Yeah, I don't own any Prince albums. Obviously, the popular songs are the popular songs. They're popular for a reason because a lot of people like them, including myself. And I know that I really do think he, definitely pushed the limits on music and was definitely a forefront inventor in terms of performance, live performance, and sound and songwriting and stuff like that. I give him that. But I didn't go to a Prince concert. I wasn't, what do they call this, a Paisley head or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If I found myself up there's not that much to do in Minneapolis. So you might say, hey, let's go to Paisley Park, right? And then I would go and I would probably like chuckle at stuff a little bit, going like, oh my God, look at that bed. Or what the heck was he doing there, right? Oh my God, look at this. This is so ostentatious. This is gaudy, whatever. I'm more there to gawk and probably just like get a kick out of it. Where I might be standing next to somebody that he truly idolized him or he helped him through something or his songs meant so much to me, and so that's what's weird about opening it up as a kind of Graceland museum is you literally get this two different dichotomy of types of people that would go to that thing. One group might just be going for a hoot to go check out. Oh, I heard it was really unique. It's really cool. And like, oh my God, you're not going to believe he's got this closet of outfits and they're all purple. And then another person might be there out of like real reverency to Prince.
All right. So
I'm opening up the other news items here.
Okay. And what news items they are?
Well, what the heck is going on here? It says Mr. Belding slams a wrestler who can't be saved by the bell. Are you saying that he wrestled? Or he's just like managing?
Yeah. States maybe if Zach and Slater, Saved by the Bell, knew what Mr. Belding was capable of, they wouldn't have messed with him so much. Dennis Haskins, who played the put-upon principal in the 1989-92 sitcom, has appeared in pro wrestling shows over the years, but this recent clip shows him exerting brutal. Watch Haskins, with a little help, slam Buster Jackson through a table in Brooklyn, New York, at a Wrestle Pro event from Saturday. And yes, his cohorts in the red tights are wearing... I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I'm wondering what Dennis was doing in New York. I wonder if he went out there specifically for the wrestling gig. I have performed with Dennis in L.A., and I see him around every now and then. Another one of my friends is close friends with him. That's funny. So Dennis Haskins getting involved in the wrestling. He must just be a wrestling fan and want to just jump in there and do some of these things at these independent wrestling sort of venues,
It definitely seems like, it looks like he had fun in that video, so, I guess if he's having fun, that's all that matters in the end. Like I was saying, at least he had fun. It looked like he had fun. He probably only got paid like $25, but like I said, if he's having fun, that's all that matters. Now, the next...
Okay, now this one, hey, you said...
Yeah, the next one is a doozy.
Go ahead.
Okay, so apparently in the past week on Maury, there was a female who was one of the women on the show, obviously, and she bears a striking resemblance to presidential candidate, Ted Cruz, and her story doesn't end there. And the typical, I guess you could say, basically how America runs. She's been offered $10,000 to do, and obviously, not being well known, she agreed. And so now she's...
Well, if you look at her, hey, first of all, she does look worse or as equal to Ted Cruz. So when you think about someone then saying, I'll give you 10 grand to shoot porn, you mean have sex with a guy? I'm in, because she's probably, she probably normally has to pay to have sex with a guy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, she's not the best looking person in the world. So this is win-win-win for her, definitely all around. Her being on Maury Povich was probably a win too. Why was she on Maury Povich in the first place?
She went on the show after her fiance, it was a 25-year-old named Freddie Green, accused her of cheating on him. All was resolved in typical Maury fashion when she passed a lie detector test, and DNA results showed her 3-month-old son was in fact Green's.
Named, and her son was named Ted Cruz Green.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it says, and this is
kind
of hard to believe. It says amazing. You'd never heard of Cruz before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I believe that. People are very unaware of what's going on out there. And that's why I told you I don't even want to talk about the politics stuff anymore, because it's not even fun anymore. It's just it's already gone down to a boredom that, I'd rather talk about other things or watch other things. But I wonder how Freddie Green, the guy that was so livid with her, you've been cheating on me. I'm bringing you on Maury Povich. I want a DNA test. I want a lie detector. But you're getting 10 grand for porn? What up, honey? You're taking me to Golden Corral, man, 10 times. Does Freddie Green, is he cool with, if he was upset with her thinking that she cheated on him in the small town of, Bacumba, Iowa, or wherever the hell they're from, how do you think he feels about her doing porn?
Oh, well, you know what? And as a matter of fact, he loves it, because guess who's going to be the co-star in her film? Him. I didn't want to give too much space, because like Ted Cruz. No, it's Mr. Green himself, and he says he's excited by her newfound fame, and he says, and I quote, "It's kind of exciting and shocking to know she's famous. She's more famous than Madonna. I'm with the star."
Reaching high for the sky. Now, how is she more famous than Madonna?
Yeah,
that what the heck? Madonna's really, really... Madonna should probably go on Maury Povich, I guess.
Apparently.
Take a DNA test and a lie detector. How is she more famous than Madonna? For those keeping score, that's about $1,666 per each minute of the carnal screen, because they get to doing a 6-minute tape. A 6-minute tape. For xhamster.com, popular porn site. Female Ted Cruz. It's going to be... I think that's hilarious, by the way. And I don't know if she really looks like him when from other angles, so to speak. But you're saying that Freddie Green, is that his name? He was fine with it?
Yes. And she's fine with it, obviously, as well. She says, everything is going to support my family. I want to get my son whatever he wants. And apparently she burns money normally by cleaning houses, while Green collects SSI because of a disability.
Oh, man, that's terrible. Yeah, see, just to let you guys know something, if you go out there and you watch porn, and there's definitely sites to watch porn and stuff like that, just knowing you're watching someone that's being taken advantage of, that these are people that all of them are in some sort of desperate need. A lot of them are hooked on drugs, or they just need money for something. And just like these people, I need the money. Now, obviously, scruples have a little bit to pay in it, but when you're tossed, just like these people, they didn't even think twice. He said it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? I'll take the $10,000 because I can buy a truck and we might get married. Of course, they're not the smartest people in the world, it sounds like, especially when he thinks that she's more famous than Madonna. but they are victims. They are victims in a and by the way, think about it. These people are out to make money off of any of this stuff. So if they're tossing $10,000 at this chick, they know they're going to make $100,000 or even more. You know, that's 10%. They're probably figuring like they toss 1% at whoever is going to be in front of the thing. So, you know, porn is not a victimless thing. There are victims involved. You are watching victims.
Exactly. I do find the last sentence of this article to be kind of hilarious because it just shows how completely clueless they are. It says, before the couple can collect the money, they first have to make the sex tape. Currently, Green is doing his part by Googling terms like how to make a sex tape on an iPhone.
Googling terms. How to make a sex tape on it. So they need to make the tape first, then they get collected. I'm with a star. So wait, he's going to star in it too, though? Is he going to make this tape with her?
Yeah, he's going to be the guy.
He look, though? I mean, she already looks like Ted Cruz. Does he look like, you know, Hillary Clinton? I mean, that's going to be kind of gross, right? I mean, what's he look like? I don't know. I don't know if I want to know what the guy looks like that's dating the chick that looks like a female version of Ted Cruz. Who's in a wheelchair? Who's collecting disability? Who's smart enough to think that the chick he's dating that looks like Ted Cruz is bigger than Madonna.
Think of like a alternate universe version of Steve Buscemi without the lazy eye.
Wait, I didn't know Steve.
Maybe not.
Are we talking about the same actor?
Well, the crazy eye.
Buscemi has a lazy eye? I didn't know that. He has a crazy eye? I didn't know that. Does he have a glass eye?
He does have a crazy eye.
I didn't know he had a crazy eye.
I don't think he had it when you guys filmed Ghost World together, but it seems he's gotten older.
It's getting crazier?
Apparently it's getting crazier, yeah.
That's interesting.
It might just be his eyes like normal. Yeah. His eyes are a thing of legend in the internet.
I didn't know that.
There's so many memes about his eyes.
Huh. Well, I would go and Google that, but if I did that while we talked, I'm worried that the thing would cut out and get all crazy again. So let's move on to the last bit of news. Now, did you watch this video?
I did. I watched it last week, though.
Was it believable, or was this something
well, she was loopy off of... Well, I mean, I think it was legit, but she was loopy off drugs after having, like, a dental procedure, so... I mean, obviously, you can mess with people, like, when they're, you know, coming off those drugs. And she's just kind of shell-shocked throughout the whole thing.
Let me watch it. Let me see if I can watch it.
Already, and ride this out. We'll let you know.
The Center for Disease Control in Washington, D.C. has issued a viral outbreak warning. State and local officials have reported cases of high fever, nausea, death, and even cannibalism. Stay in place until further notice.
What the heck? Did you...
What? I was just driving like a slug to get to the house.
Hold on, Mom's calling. Hey, did you just get that emergency alert? Yes?
You need to get home right now. I got notice in the emergency broadcast system. There's some sort of a weird virus outbreak that is not detected.
Okay, I'm pulling the driveway right now.
We're not the U.S. Marines. Why can't we start going now?
Okay, there's Barrett. He's got the Jeep. Don't move.
What? Like chemicals? Guys, the zombies? Police are coming or something and...
Yeah, it's literally all over the news.
Trying to put... a garden hoe isn't what we want. We have guns. Why are you putting garden equipment
Alright, I'll go get the guns.
in the car?
You're gonna need to defend yourself. I can't be with you the whole time, okay? Look, this is how you use it. Safety's right here. Pull this. Try it. I need you to see you do it, okay? You gotta hold it up. If anything comes, hold the weapon. Hold it up. No, hold it up. Hold it up, okay? You got it? Okay, I'll be right back.
you supposed to do for me? Give me a knife! How am I supposed to defend myself?
Listen, we can only take one pet. Which pet? The cat or the dog?
The cat! You idiot!
Okay.
No!
What do we do with the dog?
He's the worst! He's already dying! Just leave him!
Okay,
Get the cat!
Okay, I got the cat.
Please.
Mom said we're leaving the dog.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Dad said that since he's in Las Vegas, that he's close to Mexico and he wants us to meet him in Mexico. How good is your Spanish still from high school?
I can say pants.
Millicent, we can only take Funfetti or chocolate cake. Which one do we take? Funfetti? Do you want Funfetti or chocolate?
Why would you
Which? No, Millicent, this is important. This will be what we're living off of. Which one? Funfetti, chocolate. Do you think Costco, should we go to Costco first?
No, it's gonna be a bloodbath in there.
She's probably right. She's probably right. Millicent, what about Mexico?
Why do I have to be on this side there?
Millicent, you know where we're gonna go? We're gonna go back home, and you're gonna get in bed, and you're gonna sleep for the next couple hours, because there's no zombie apocalypse. Alright, we're gonna go let you get in bed.
Millicent, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
We love you.
We love you. I'm gonna turn this off.
I watched it. There was some funny stuff where she said, like, we can only take one pet, the dog or the cat. She's like, the cat, you fucking idiot. You know, it's like, and then like, we need guns. Why are you bringing a rake? And there was something else funny she said. There was a couple of like funny lines. I like that she just wanted to bring the cat. Or they were like, Funfetti? Should we get the Funfetti? Why would we be bringing that? Zombies. She was out of it. They took advantage of somebody that was out of it.
That they did. And actually, they did it for the enjoyment of the entire internet. Now, Dave, before we go on, I do just want to preface this with the additional information that since going viral, they have appeared on talk shows together, and the girl is not mad at her brothers, and she finds it pretty hilarious too, so at least, even though she was the butt of the joke, she has embraced this newfound popularity wholeheartedly. Next up is our interview with Alexandra Breckenridge. Now, Alexandra Breckenridge, guys and girls, has been in a lot of films. We've talked about it before. She's been in True Blood, and American Horror Story, and The Walking Dead. She's the man. I could go on and on with movies and TV shows that she's booked. She is a talented person, and actually one of my favorite people to interview. This is our second interview I've done with her. I got another one with her on my old podcast, but this is a new interview for the new podcast. So sit back and enjoy this interview with Alexandra Breckenridge.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Dave and Creech Show. I am here with, as it says on her shirt, the batshit crazy.
Batshit crazy.
Yes, Alexandra Breckenridge. Thank you again for joining us. It's actually your second time on the show.
Yeah.
It was Creech questions before, but we've changed now.
Okay.
So first question is, since we last talked, obviously one of the worst Valentines ever. Your character died on The Walking Dead.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yes. They killed Rick's love life there.
No, but he got some in the next episode. He's doing fine.
He is doing fine. How was it to film the second half of this? I guess because it feels like a really just a one long episode from 8 and 9.
It was so depressing, but everybody came out to see me go, I guess you could say, and that was really, really sweet.
Awesome.
Really sweet.
And I know that I heard you had to deal with some of the shippers out there.
Oh yeah.
With when Rick and Jesse were a couple.
Yeah. Well, you know, some people wanted Michonne and Rick to get together, and some people wanted Jesse and Rick to get together. So it's sort of like I don't know what the numbers are. I don't really care, but it felt like it was sort of half and half at the time, and yeah. But you know, it's just a TV show. It's just people wanting characters to be together, so it's really not a big deal.
Yeah. Now that your journey on The Walking Dead has come to a close, If you had to pick a favorite memory from shooting throughout, what would it be?
Stabbing the lady in the chest.
That was definitely a good one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You got to be covered in a lot of blood, as I'm sure was probably fun to wash off.
It was sticky.
Of course, with American Horror Story, you're probably used to being covered in some sort of blood as well.
Yeah.
And so...
no, I never got covered in blood from American Horror Story.
Oh, yeah. I forgot they didn't show any blood in the biting scene. Yeah.
No, there was blood, but not much. A little bit.
Okay. And for the last question, go ahead and ask, what is next for Alexandra?
I've been working on a pilot and helping a friend out with a short film and stuff like that. I'm just looking for something exciting on cable, hopefully, because pilot season always runs in the beginning of the year. So I didn't really want to do like the major network shows, so I'm sort of waiting for something cool. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Netflix, Amazon, whatever.
So
Showtime, HBO.
If there's anybody from Netflix, Amazon, Showtime, or HBO that want to hit Alexandra up,
yes, please.
You can hit her up on Twitter. It's at Alexandra Breck1, right?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea what my Twitter handle is.
Just search Alexandra Breckenridge, and you can definitely get her on your show.
Yeah, she's available.
She is available as of Valentine's Day.
Well, I was available since August, really, but nobody knew.
Yes. So thank you again.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Welcome back, guys. That was our interview with Alexandra Breckenridge, and as we've talked about in the past two podcasts, she announced shortly after this interview that actually Alexandra is pregnant. She is married to the guitarist for Katy Perry, and they are going to have absolutely beautiful children, and she's going to be a great mom. And we definitely here at Dave and Creech want to give all the support we can, and looking forward to having her on the show again very soon. Now, before Dave does the outro, I did want to take just a moment to highlight a GoFundMe of the month. It's something I found out about recently. It's a listener and a friend who is in need. Her name is Katie, and she's got a GoFundMe to raise funds to help her escape her current living situation where she is going through mental abuse. And in some cases, if you don't know, mental abuse can be just as bad, if not worse, than physical abuse. She is in a toxic relationship right now, and it's been over 7 years that she's been in this. She writes on her GoFundMe, I can honestly say that mental abuse is way worse than physical. I'm hoping to raise enough money to be able to move my kids and I away from Charlotte and him. So, basically, all she's asking for is some money to help her move away and to escape this toxic situation. Like she said, and like I was just saying, mental abuse is something that nobody should ever have to go through. It is very taxing. Guys, if you've got $1, $5, $10, any bit helps. We definitely want to help her out and help her escape the situation so she won't have to deal with this no more, and her kids don't have to be witness or a party to this kind of treatment anymore. If you have a GoFundMe that you want us to promote, make sure you send it in and we'll highlight one for the next month. Once again, if you want to donate, any bit helps, and that link is going to be in the podcast highlights on the page. But also, I will say it now, it is at GoFundMe.com/helpamotherandkids. Once again, that is GoFundMe.com/helpamotherandkids.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Dave and Creech podcast. This was episode 17, and I hope you enjoyed it. We had an interesting little skip around and chat about various topics, and we had a lot of little technical difficulties, but I think Creech is going to do a good job editing this together. So tune in next week for episode 18. I think you guys can tell I'm kind of tired, man. I am worn out. I'm going to go to bed. We can't keep ending each episode where I go to bed, though.
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you for listening to The Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creech Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.